Okay, so I was looking at my channel. I was kind of looking at old video in the background, but it's making background noise. And so I'm gonna do I guess what you would call sort of a cook with me live whatnots. And yes, this is me, Julia, in the kitchen. I'll probably add it to that podcast thing later. And I've been meaning to cook for a while. I've just fallen off my cooking routine a little bit. I do love to clean. That I always keep up with. But cooking, I feel like I've just been doing kind of basic things the last few days. I just haven't been cooking to the level that I really love to cook to. And I feel like cooking is very good. It's good to cook, you know? Like, I don't know if you can see me here though. I feel like it kind of cuts it off. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out what's a good angle. Is that a good angle? Is this a good angle? I don't know. I feel like the angle could be better. I want a better angle, you see. It's always about the angle. Let's see. I do love this tripod though, because the tripod, it just gives you the ability to change the angle. It's a little bit sideways. That's interesting. I don't know if we want that. Okay, I like that though. Okay, I need to wash my hands again. It's kind of sticky with you. But I feel like it kind of cuts me off though. I don't know. Maybe it won't cut me off once I cook. So, I haven't cooked in a bit. And we're basically just starting. Like, there isn't an exact recipe that we're following. It's not like exact. It's just gonna be something that I'm creating whatnots. You know? Like, this is not a baking tutorial. I know a lot of people think like, oh, like cooking videos have to be really structured and tight. But that's just not how I cook in the kitchen. I actually think just what you do is this. Like, you have an idea where you're going, okay? But have some flexibility. Like, I think I'm going to bring it up a bit, actually. So I love to have some flexibility in the kitchen. I just love to be like, okay, I have these ingredients and I'm going to make something that's kind of like this. But it doesn't have to be an exact recipe. Like, I know some people are like, recipe, exact. Like, it must be exact. But I think if you are a good cook, which I'm a pretty good cook, you can definitely just play around with food and you can deviate with recipes. And you can make it a little bit different each time. I mean, there are certain things, like if you're baking, okay? Baking is almost, I'm not saying that baking is exactly a science, but it's more of a science because with baking you have to have like certain ratios so things turn out well, or you'll end up with something that's burnt or something that's, you know, doughy in the middle. Unless you're going for lava cake, which by the way, I always thought it was such a scam that Domino's had lava cakes, but I think they were just cakes that were partially cooked, and it's like scam, but people get fast food and they pay for it, and you know. Anyhow, we're gonna make some broccoli. That's what we're starting with first. I need to get out a pan because I want to do a stir fry. That's my plan, Stan. A pan? Stan. A plan, not a pan. A pan and a plan. A pan and a plan. A pan and a plan. I've been getting lots of fun comments today. But that's the nature of the internet. I embrace the weird comments. You want to make weird comments? I don't know. You want to go on a rant? Do it. Like, it's just, I'm like, okay. Like, I mean, just some of the comments that I've been getting, like, well, and I don't even care. I'm just like, okay, like, fun in the sun times. Well, you know, everybody else was cool about it, but just like, weird comments sometimes. Internet's fun every day. Every day it's fun. So, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start chopping. Well, I have to drink some of my coffee first. The first coffee. I guess I need to go to the store tomorrow and buy some more almond milk. Okay, so I'm going to take our broccoli. We're going to give our broccoli, our beautiful little broccoli friends, a bath. Broccoli loves a bath. Well, I love to give things a bath. I don't think broccoli loves a bath, but you know, that's what we're doing. I don't know why I have a pot holder right there. I think the pot holder needs to go back in its house. Put it back. Back, back, back. Okay, so I feel like one head of broccoli is never enough. I'm a veggie lover, okay? I love my veggies. When I get started, I love them. Everybody has theories about what's healthy for them, but for me, vegetables, it's just so healthy. Like, I have to have my vegetables and my fruit, and, you know, some noodles are okay once in a while. I don't really feel like a noodle is 100% super necessary. Like, I don't have to have it, but, you know, it can be nice. I kind of feel like I just want to make a stir fry without it tonight, though. I just want to make a broccoli, green onion centric stir fry. I want the pieces to be nice and small the way I like them. Because when you eat out, you have no control over, like, the size of veggies. And I'm like, I hate how when you eat out, you get these big, I've talked about this before, like, any kind of vegetable stir fry. Although, there was one place, and I praise them highly, because I don't eat out all the time, but there is this vegan Chinese place, it's called the Vegan District, and they were actually pretty darn amazing, because they chopped their vegetables into small pieces. And I'm like, you know why? Because it's in Loma Linda. Loma Linda has lots of vegetarian, vegan-friendly restaurants, and I don't know, I just feel like restaurants that kind of specialize in plant-based diets, they get it, so they're not going to make, like, big pieces of vegetables. I'm like, that's not enjoyable. Because the one place I went where, was it? Oh yeah, it's Waba Grill. That was the one. I just wasn't impressed with Waba Grill because you'd have a broccoli like the size of your, it was just big. And I don't care the cuisine. I need to cut up my veggies in small pieces. I like that. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I can chew it. And yeah, and then sometimes if I don't have something to cut up a veggie in a small bite-sized things, I end up like taking a bigger bite of it because like you can't really chew it, and it's just like you're trying, so you want to chew it all at once. It's just very annoying. So restaurants, do better and ask if you can cut everything into nice bite-sized pieces. Well, I guess you have to request it, like, or just cook at home. This is why I'm not a fan. Like, I always have a critique of every restaurant, and I'm like, you can cook at home better, unless the only thing that's actually really good, and it's not like a sit-down restaurant, are like mom and pop sandwich shops or something. Like this coffee place. Like, we love the Olive Market because they make little sandwiches. I mean, you can make a sandwich yourself, but that's definitely not like what you call a restaurant. I'm just not a fan of restaurants. I'm never a fan of the restaurant scene. It just doesn't appeal to me. So we're gonna take all of our broccoli, put them in the pan. Usually I would do the onion first, but with green onion, I don't like to overly caramelize the green onion. Green onion, I feel different. Like when it comes to green onion, I want it a little like fresh. You know, like I want a little bit of that nice fresh bite to it. So I love to caramelize like a red onion or a purple onion, I guess I usually call it. And I'm playing red, but I usually call it purple. So like a purple onion, or like actually, I love purple onion, but I think my favorite onion to caramelize is just like a yellow onion. Not even a white one, a yellow one. Because yellow onions, especially I used to love it when Costco had the Mayan onion. Oh my gosh, those things are amazing. Caramelized. I feel like I'm myself again when I'm cutting up veggies. I need to eat a raw piece of vegetable. You feel yourself again. Like if you ever feel like your energy's low, start chopping some veggies and start chewing on them. And I don't know, eating vegetables just will give you an energy boost like nothing else. They're so good for you. So delicious. I love it. Well, my youngest sister does not like beef. She's pretty much a vegetarian, but her favorite thing used to be the broccoli. And then, well, they had this broccoli beef dish, but stir fried at this one Chinese restaurant. But she would always ask them to take out the beef, so she'd just have the broccoli. Which to me, I couldn't do that because if there was beef in it, I wouldn't want it at all. She's less picky than me in that sense. But I don't know, my other sister goes to In-N-Out. So, like, it's interesting though, because we've all had different life experiences. Like, my mom's a vegetarian, okay? My mom's a vegetarian. She's been a vegetarian since, I don't know, the 70s. I mean, I think she tried to be vegan for maybe 5 years, but my mom's just like straight up a vegetarian. I go into vegan territory, whereas I'm not like a strict vegan. But in general, I just avoid dairy and eggs, and honestly, I'm a little lactose intolerant anyway. So I just feel better, and I never wanted to eat those things growing up. Like, I always thought dairy was disgusting, and I just feel better. And that's one thing I do love about Asian cuisine is, like, you can go to a Chinese or Thai restaurant and it doesn't have, like, all these dairy things in it, and I love that. Like, I think I love Chinese I love making my own Chinese takeout, but if you are in Loma Linda, shout out to the vegan district because they're just really good. Like, I really, like, I only ate there once, but they're actually really good, and I just feel like I never see any really good, like, really super good restaurants. Like, every time I eat out, would only be, like, at the local coffee shop where they make sandwiches, and that's a little bit different. It's not like an eat out place. But in general, like, I just feel like when you cook at home, it's better. I just never am a super fan of eating out. There's just nothing to eat out that's super tasty to me or made exactly the way I want it. You know, I just feel like, okay, so sometimes it's just too salty when you eat out. Sometimes the vegetables are just cut too big. I just have all these opinions on the eat out thing. So I'm still chopping up my broccoli. Those pieces are kind of biggy though. I think I want that little, this was organic broccoli. So it's so beautiful, really. So, I mean, I don't always buy organic veggies, but I have to be honest. It's just more beautiful and it tastes yummy. This tastes better than conventional broccoli. So I don't always buy organic. Like, look, the onions, these green onions, are the conventional ones. But for some reason, I just noticed at our market, our little supermarket, that the organic broccoli is tastier and looks better than the conventional one. But it's the other way around with like the onions, like the green onions that they sell that are organic are overpriced and they're like wilty. Whereas I don't even like the tiny green onions. Like my favorite ones I decided recently, which are almost competing with the purple onion, which I always felt like the purple onion had my heart the most. Like I always feel like the purple onion has my heart, you know? I can never give up on my purple onion. But these BBQ green onions, product of Mexico. I don't know, Mexican produce is just legit good. Like, a lot of the produce grown in Mexico it's good. Like, I know a lot of it is nowadays, but it's just good. Like, Mexico avocados. I know some people are like, don't eat avocados from Mexico. Yes, but the avocados from Mexico taste better, and it's hard to find California avocados unless you know somebody. Like some people in town have an avocado tree and you might get lucky and they will share some avocados with you, and then yes. But otherwise, like, California avocados can be pricey and they're like smaller. I don't know. I love. So I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of the produce from Mexico, it's like, and a lot of produce is grown in California too, but I like the Mexican produce. It's good. I also like some of the Mexican desserts and what else? The Mexican laundry detergent. Like there's just certain, like I have been buying, like, okay, I've been buying the laundry detergent, is it? Oh yes, the Arm & Hammer one. I've been buying the big thing of that, but sometimes, like, if you just don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on laundry detergent, but even this is going up, there's like a couple of these powdered detergents that are popular in Mexico, and there's just really good quality, and I think that stuff is better than Tide. I know people like have the Tide has this cult following, and it's locked up because I guess people steal Tide, which is just the weirdest thing on the planet. I don't even like Tide that much. We stopped using it years ago because we just didn't like it anymore. And for a while I used to like the Sun laundry detergent, but I don't really like that either. I think I just really like this Arm & Hammer detergent one, or I love that Mexican laundry detergent. So there's just certain ones I end up really liking, and I'm like, yeah, there's just certain things I like, and I like them. But these larger green onions from Mexico, they're just so good. They're like my favorite. These ones are conventional, but for some reason the broccoli, which is organic, just tastes better to me. And it looks a little bit greener and it lasts longer. So I'm like, yeah, I like that a little bit more than, you know. We might make several things. We might see how deep we go into our culinary adventures tonight, you know. I'm not sure how deep I want to go. Well, I might, when I'm making the stir fry, I might get my eggplants prepped for baba. Because I'm kind of in the mood for some baba ganoush, you know. And I'm thinking about prepping some eggplants for baba. That's what I'm thinking about doing. Or maybe I'll make, thought about making falafel. I don't know. I'm kind of in the mood for falafel. But I ate all my pita bread. But that's okay. You don't need pitas for the falafel. They're good as little balls on their own. Okay. Okay. Just like, things kind of stuck on the cutting board now. Distributed. Oh, maybe I'll save. Wow. I feel like there's stuff in the mail. Oh, this is the broccoli. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring you right over here with me. This stove. Hi, this is me again. I have my pan. Lovely. I have some paper to wipe up, like if some broccoli spills on the floor. Just clean up a little bit as you go. It makes it easier, you know, so that later you're not tackling the biggest and most gigantic mess on the planet. And I think this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get my broccoli started. I'm going to do my olive oil. I don't like to deep fry foods, but I'm just going to do a tiny bit of olive oil. It doesn't need to be crazy, you know. I just want it a little bit. And then I have my dipping sauce, the Kung Pao stir fry sauce. I'm going to add just a little, I don't want to go crazy. That's enough. Yeah. Don't want to go overboards. And then, I don't know, I want to spice it up. Maybe put a little squirt of tahini in here. I mean, why not? I actually do like that this is squirtable tahini, but it doesn't last very long. That's my only complaint about that. And then, in order to make a stir fry, because you can't really see what I'm doing, because you can, but you can't. You can, but you can't, okay? I'm going to get a plate. Turn on the fire very gently. I'm going to get out my spatula. I'm going to get all my veggies coated so that they're stir frying. Don't want anything burn. Actually, a good little tip is, like, I don't believe in water frying personally. I don't water fry, but I don't want to, like, deep fry things in oil either. So you just add a little bit of water to help with the cooking process. And I think that's a good thing, to be honest with you, because I don't need to completely steam my vegetables. But in the frying process, I don't want to completely fry them either. So, like, let's make a hybrid, friends. Let's do hybrid, where we can do a little bit of steaming and a little bit of frying. That's how I do my stir fries these days, because I just found, honestly, if I'm going to eat fats, I want the healthy fat. So, you want to put some fat. Do you want to add some more fat to your food? Olive oil is healthy, okay? But I personally think tahini is a little bit better because it also has some fiber and protein in it, along with the fat, which makes it slightly more satiating. So I'll just add another little bit of tahini in there. And yeah, I'll just buy more later. And I do love my olive oil. Don't get me wrong, I love olive oil. I'm just kind of tweaking how I eat because I don't want to be deep frying my food. And this is just my personal preference. Like, and I think that's another thing I love about cooking at home is, like, food is not deep fried. And it just has, like, a slight fry saute flavor. And it's more to your liking. And I just feel like overall, food's just healthier and better. And I feel like you can cook it longer or cook it less. And you just, whatever you want, you know. That's kind of my motto. Whatever you want. Okay, so I'm going to make some, actually, is my blender in the dishwasher? I think I need to get them out. I'm going to make some falafel tonight. I have a can of chickpeas. I didn't soak chickpeas, but I decided one of these days I need to get around to soaking chickpeas once again. But I didn't, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my blender thing. And while that's happening, I'm going to continue sauteing my little broccoli. a little bit lower. So, oh, this is kind of cool. These chickpeas have a pop top lid. Nice. I don't even have to worry about. Sometimes this is worse though, because then you have to pull it. Try to pour the water out, pour the chickpeas in, and there we go. Some of the aquafaba got in there, but that's okay. I'm okay with it. So, I'm going to make, I don't want to make hummus. I'm going to do some rough chopping of the onion, and then I'm going to add a bit of cilantro in. Because I got cilantro, not parsley, okay? I know that's going to trigger some people, but this is how I'm doing it. I forgot to buy salt again. I'm just going to use some of the kung pao flavoring for but you know, I think there's already salt in the chickpea, so I don't really need to add it. Yeah, I don't have to add it because I'm gonna make like a tahini sauce anyway. So there we go. I looked out. I don't have to add anything. A few in there. I might add some flour to it too, since I'm using a can of chickpeas as opposed to the fresh stuff. You know, the not fresh, but the dried chickpeas. I think, like, do I like chickpea or garbanzo bean? I use both. Some people say, oh, one is more American, one is more British, and I disagree with that because as an American, I've used both interchangeably. I know some people swear up and down the street that one usage is more American and one usage is more British, or I mean, I don't know. Maybe that is for some people, but in California, I think we use both. I guess I just decided over time I kind of think chickpea sounds better for some reason. I mean, garbanzo is okay, and I know that's technically its name, but I just think chickpea sounds cuter. It's like a cuter name for it. And if you want a cuter name for food, I feel like chickpea sounds better than garbanzo bean. So in the comments below, what do you think sounds cuter, chickpea or garbanzo bean? Do you have an opinion of anyone? Either way, you know? What's your opinion on this highly controversial topic? Does chickpea or garbanzo bean sound better? You tell me. I don't know. You're going to have to vote in the comments. Or maybe I'll have to make a poll after the live stream just to see how people feel about this subject. I know somebody once was like, oh, there are a whole bunch of people like watching the stream and I feel bad. And I'm like, well, I still make the streams and some people do watch it. So I like doing streams. They're fun for me, you know? And I think it's always interesting to see like what times do they bring on which viewers. Depending on what part of the world they're in and whatnot. Ooh. Broccoli's looking kind of good. I think adding that little bit of tahini to it along with the water, which watered down the tahini a little bit, along with the tiny bit of olive oil, the tiny bit of the kung pao sauce, very good. Ooh, yeah, it's looking good. I'm happy about it. Okay, so let's have a discussion about being polite and telling people something's healthy or not healthy. Because, you know, I was the kid that actually, when I was little, like in the 80s, when I was a little kid, my mom completely cooked from scratch. Like, we didn't even have a box cake mix back in the days. Like, she did it all, like the flour, the egg, the milk, and yes, my mom's vegetarian. I personally, I don't buy eggs, and I sometimes bake, but I always think I have a sweet tooth, but I don't even have like that much. Like, I was thinking maybe I'll make pancakes in the morning. I don't know. Sometimes I think I have a sweet tooth, but other times I think I don't. It depends on my day and my mood, so to speak, you know? I want to it's like at all, so I'm going to get a little spatula because I don't want it to be hummus-like. Let my broccoli cook down for a few more minutes. Nice and soft. Let it cook for a few more minutes. Nice and tender and soft. Oh no, didn't mean to hurt make the camera jump like that. So, I probably definitely will add some flour in here. I'm thinking, like, well, the first step is going to be I'm going to kind of puree in this onion, which I think will give it. Let's see what happens. I feel like broccoli or this, like this cilantro. It's gonna give it a good, nice. No, I don't want my cilantro leaves going all over the place. Okay. I think maybe my stir fry's done. I'm gonna let it stop cooking. The thing that's so nice about tahini, it's kind of like, I'm going to be honest with you, I love sesame, but I like tahini more than sesame oil. So I feel like this has a little bit of Syria, Lebanon, and a little bit of like East Asian inspiration. This is like an Asian fusion dish because of the tahini. Like it's the Middle East contribution to a stir fry, and it's really steamy, so I'm not going to take a bite right now unless I want to burn my tongue. That's not a good idea. So always control. Grown, packed, and shipped in Santa Maria, California. You want to see? That's what it says on the inside of the cilantro. It's called Bonnie Pack cilantro or coriander. A lot of people call it coriander. I guess cilantro is an acquired taste, or some people, like, there's something on 23andMe that some people can detect the smell of cilantro in urine, and I'm like, I don't know. Is that really a thing? It's funny because I remember when my dad first said, oh, like, so-and-so loves cilantro, and it's so good in salsa. At first, my mom was like, oh, I don't want to try coriander or cilantro in salsa. But boy, did that change when we started using it in salsa. And she's like, this is the best. And it's funny because I think my mom likes it more than my dad does now. you know, but I just remember when I first started using cilantro in salsa. This is really good, by the way, because the tahini gives it a very nutty. Oh gosh, I don't want to burn my tongue. Though. You see all that steam coming off of it? I'd be sorry if I burn my tongue. I'm very sorry. Okay. Sticking to my fingers. So I'm gonna slowly add a little bit at a time, I think. Slowly build it up, you know? Slowly add it in there. Kind of have to incorporate it a little bit, you know? Smells very, very good. I should have a lemon. I have a grapefruit. I'll get that out in a minute though. We're gonna be going at this for a while until we get the mixture. And then I'm gonna add flour to it because this was a can of chickpeas, so it has a little bit too much moisture in it. So this isn't like super authentic falafel, but we're just making it as we go along with our Chinese, Syrian, Lebanese inspired stir fry. Telling you, it's good. It's a little too hot. All right. So, let's see. Did I fold it all in? I think this process of folding it in is good though, because it'll give some bulkiness to it, because you want falafel to be kind of gritty. And I feel like this is gonna just kind of do that for it because it's so vegetable laden. But I'm definitely gonna put some flour in. I'm gonna take it out of here when I'm done and add flour to it too. Ooh, tahini. And this, like, as a base to this, is so good because there's protein in the sesame and it thickens it up. This is so much better than when I get takeout stir fry. I still used a little bit of the base of the Panda Express sauce, so you still kind of get that flavor, but it's not as salty. It's not as deep fried. Oh, it's fresher. This is soft, but it also has a little bit of, like, it's still kind of partially cooked. I mean, I could have cooked it more, but it has a little bit of crunch to it. A little bit. That was good. Okay, so let me keep folding this over. I think put the rest of it in. It feels a little slimy-wimey. You know, one thing I am focusing on is I would like to meet, I think, like, when it happens naturally and organically, I think that in the future, of course, I want to meet new friends and whatnot, but it's different. Like, the way I approach it is differently. I feel like a lot of people, they have a real high need for, like, social interaction and dynamic. Whereas for me, I feel like I don't have as much, like, I like hanging out with my sister or talking to a couple of friends, but I don't feel like I have a high need for a social life. Personally, maybe if maybe people that work from home that don't really see people, I can see that. But in general, I don't feel like I need, like, all the socializing that other people say is so necessary, because I just feel like I need a break from that once in a while. And I feel like our society, even for introverted people, like, they're pushing this idea that you need to socialize a lot. And I feel like, okay, I'm never going to tell people that they're wrong about things, and I don't ever want to be political, but I feel like some people, they misquantify, like, individuality and freedom as not, like, promoting your neighbors in the community. And I don't get that, because actually I think a lot of people that are pro individual rights help their neighbors more than people who say they believe in collectivism. It's true, like, because if you look at, in the past, people used to help their neighbors, but if you look at people who live in big cities and say they might believe in collectivism, do they even know their neighbors? Like, I feel like people like to generalize about things, and I'm not even saying that's true about all people who are into collectivism. I feel like, in general, though, it's probably better just to respect individual rights and freedom, and to some degree, you know, without being super political about it. But I mostly just think there has to be a balance in everything. That's sort of what I think. But I also think on other topics, like, okay, so part of respecting individual freedom is you as an individual don't, like, you might not agree with a lot of groups and what other people are doing all the time, but you give people the right and you respect their freedom to do as they please, but you also at the same time don't really identify with groups. Like, honestly, I'm just myself, and I have decided at this point in my life I don't want to define myself by words other people use to define a group of women or men, or even align myself politically. I mean, yes, I am an American. That I do agree with. Yes, I'm part European and Syrian, Lebanese. That I agree with. But in general, as a person and as an individual, I don't consider myself Democrat, Republican, feminist, liberal, conservative. I don't like to label myself that way, because to me it just feels very putting myself in a little bit of a box, and I feel like there's this pressure that you have to define people, and I just don't understand. And then sometimes I just don't want to always have everything be political, and then people come to your videos and they're going on rants about things that pertain to them and not you. And look, I have no problem with people that consider themselves feminists. That's fine. Like, if you want to be a feminist, that's your business. But what I do think is kind of weird, just like some men might not like women who are feminists, I think there's something wrong with men who come to my videos and do rants about feminism when the topic of the video was never feminism. It was just about how I like to clean. Or they make assumptions about women. But at the end of the day, I just think that that's a young guy that doesn't know anything about women or something. It's kind of weird. I don't know. But at the same time, I don't really care that deeply either. I'm just like, are you kidding me? Are you 5? You must be 5 years old. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. This is good. Yeah, I'm over defining myself by certain things. I feel like it's very important to some people. But as somebody who values, I try to value people's freedom. As long as they're not hurting other people, I just don't really want to be pigeonholed into those things, because I feel like there was a lot of that when I was younger, and I just got to the point that I'm like, it doesn't serve me. Like, for instance, without being super political, I sometimes am confused, like, why people adore Donald Trump the way they do, or why people adore Mike Pence or DeSantis, I think is his name. DeSantis, actually. DeSantis, oh my gosh. DeSantis in Florida. He's a little... I mean, I just don't agree with his ideas on censorship. It's weird to me, okay? But if somebody really wants to vote for him and they like him, and maybe there's a couple of things, like, okay, I mean, I didn't really know anything about him until I kind of looked into it. There were a couple of things about him, I see how they would kind of appeal to regular people, that he had student debt and he's a younger person, like he's around my age, I guess. And another thing that I feel like he's relatable. He doesn't come from... That's the thing I didn't ever really get about Trump or Clinton. They just came from very elite families. Like, even though Clinton originally did not, but he's built up his political elite. I don't know. I liked Obama a lot better than Hillary Clinton. I never was a fan of Hillary Clinton, but that was a no-no. You were never supposed to say that. And I wasn't thrilled with her campaign in 2008, and I wasn't thrilled with it in 2016. I liked Gary Johnson. So I don't like to get super political, okay? And the few times I did feel invested in politics, I was disappointed because I thought, well, here's a candidate who actually is saying good things, but he doesn't appeal to the divide and conquer mentality that's been promoted by Democrats and Republicans, who definitely get together to pass an amendment to the Constitution to give themselves pay raises, okay, indefinitely. But everybody's so worried about fighting over politics or defining themselves by being conservative, liberal, feminist, or red pill dude. I'm like, get over it. I'm so over it. Like, as long as somebody's not hurting somebody else and they're not misogynistic and they respect somebody and they're polite, I would rather see that than people who have these very rigid, or people who treat politicians like cults of celebrity. Like, I honestly thought the whole thing with Donald Trump was a joke. I consider him to be a joke. I don't really understand why people voted for him, but on the same token, I didn't hate everything about him, but I don't have any respect for him at all, okay? I don't respect the man, period. And then the thing with Biden is I'm not real super excited about Biden either. I think he's too old to be president. And I wasn't a fan of Kamala Harris. I just want somebody better to run for office. So what am I going to spend the rest of my life being mired in American politics? Because I'll tell you, Mike Pence is not it. Joe Biden's not it. Kamala Harris is not it. Donald Trump is definitely not it. But people just treat them like they're gods. And I feel like, I mean, I know this happens in other countries too, but I think what's really sad is Americans used to just kind of be able to get along, and even if they knew that their neighbor voted differently, they didn't have like these ideological rifts where they, like, remember in 2016 where people were blocking their friends on Facebook because somebody voted for Trump and somebody voted for Hillary Clinton. And these were people that they grew up with, so they cared more about the cult of celebrity than the people that they grew up with, people that they knew all their lives, that they knew everything about, just because they had a slightly different political opinion, because they were swayed by somebody who is who's playing theater. I mean, have you seen the picture of Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and his Ivana Trump? Have you seen it? Because they were all friends at one time, and Donald Trump gave money to Hillary Clinton's campaign for president in 2008. So you can pretend to have amnesia and think that these things never happened, but they did happen. I know eventually they ended up hating each other, but in the past they didn't always hate each other, you know, and they can try to rewrite history for us. But it's just like divide and conquer politics, and I don't even like Donald Trump that much, to be honest with you. Like, I thought he was always kind of annoying, to be honest with you. But at the same time, I didn't really want to, like, antagonize somebody because they voted for him, and we know people who voted for him, and I didn't want to, like, treat them bad or treat them like a bad person because a lot of people voted for people I didn't like. I just think American politics has become so dirty. Oh, politics worldwide. But people are willing to, like, sacrifice friendships, relationships over a politician who's basically just a cult of celebrity. Don't treat them like gods, man. Like, these are just, same with celebrities. I don't know. Let people fight over this stuff. And then they get all attached to, like, defining themselves about being anti-feminist or feminist. I just feel like a lot of it's not for me. But I respect people that want to define their lives by these things. I personally don't. I guess I'm talking about it. I mean, I follow it. I was a history major. I'm fascinated by it. But also, I refuse to. It'd be kind of like defining yourself. Like, let's say there was somebody who still considered themselves an Ottomanist, like for the Ottoman Empire. They'd look kind of dumb because Ataturk took that away, you know. Reform that all. When they look kind of lulu. But I don't know. There's just certain people, they are so tied to this one identity. And that becomes their identity. And I'm just like, I don't think it's worth it. But you're never going to get through to people who feel that way. Because the people who feel that way They believe in their heart of hearts that they are right and everybody else is wrong. That's what they truly believe. So you can't get through to those people, you know? You definitely cannot. Don't want to puree the mixture, but I think I'm going to break it up a bit more than it is. A bit more broken up. I think I'm going to stir it a little bit more than this. And then I will definitely add some flour to it. So, at the end of the day, people are very invested in their political, their social, their religious groupings, and whatever group they belong to that defines them completely. I personally just don't get super invested in it. Other people are heavily defined by it. Like, this is them and this is what they stand for. No deviating, not an inch. But, you know, I personally don't. I have some goals for myself. I want to paint and I want to draw more when I have free time, and I want to learn Turkish and Arabic. To me, that's more interesting than fighting with some clomper who comes to a video to be upset about things that aren't even the video's topic. Anyhow, that's that. Do a little bit more stirring, and then maybe I'll just put it in a bowl and add some flour. Put a lid on it. Get a bowl, but I need some more broccoli to sustain myself as I'm doing this. This broccoli is tasting better with every bite. It is so good. I need a bowl. I'm telling you, tahini and stir fry like a little bit just thickens it up. Tasty. Very tasty. Very good. Very enjoyable. I like it a lot. I'm going to add flour to this because it's going to be too soupy on its own. Where's the flour? The sprouts. That's yummy. Flour. Well, I haven't been baking as much as I used to, so let's use 5. Well, I'm the only one eating it anyhow. No. I'm going to slowly incorporate some flour in here, and then I'll get more of it. So I just want to thicken it up a bit so that I could make, little falafel balls with it. That's the only reason I'm adding flour. I might have to add a lot more than that. Okay, so I got my green stuff on me. Well, I love cilantro. So for me, it's great. Another spoon. I don't want to overdo it. I just want to slowly incorporate it, Make a ball. Nope, still too goopy. Tastes good though. Very cilantro-y. Add another spoonful of flour mix. Keep stirring it until it becomes more ball shapes. I think it needs another spoonful. With some garlic powder. Tasty. Get out there. Ooh, that's a lot. This could be a lovely face mask. Could be. So it's all fully incorporated. It's going to take a little bit. You might even have to let it sit for a few minutes, you know, kind of meld together. Kind of do its little thing. Why not, you know? Maybe I'll take a little break and you can just watch it sit there. That could be fun for you. You can just watch. We're back. Okay. There's a train going. It's not supposed to be blowing after 10 o'clock at night. Although I love the sound of the train, but some people did not like that horn. Apparently it was very controversial, that horn. Okay, so I need to wipe the counter a bit more. Do some more counter wiping. Air fryer. I'll do a better washing in the air fryer later, but I just kind of want to get it a little bit prepped, you know? I'm starting to feel really full. Oh my. This, I'm going to kind of just wipe down a little bit. I might get a different little basket for making my falafel. So, let's start making our falafel. No, I feel like, I'm not sure it's going to work, because I feel like it might fall through. It still feels too doughy. I feel like it's too wet and it might fall through. I'm kind of worried. I think I need to add more flour. Because it needs to be less wet than that. That's too much moisture still. Too much moisture in it, unfortunately. It's still too much. Okay, so when I was just thinking about this old movie I'd seen. Well, it's old now, but I read the book Dances with Wolves. I read it when I was 12. I thought at the time it was such a good book. Oh, this book is so amazing. I don't know, when you're a kid, like this seems so exciting. It has so much adventure in it. But I think it's been so long since I read the book, years really, that I can't say for sure if this scene happened in the book, but it happened in the movie. I was just remembering something. It was just so campy, and it's almost like, even though it wasn't like an R-rated movie, it kind of had like this weird softy core porn like element to it, because and it doesn't really lend anything to the story. It's this part where you know, Sergeant Dunbar, played by Kevin Costner, is he went on a buffalo hunt with I'm trying to, I can't even remember all the characters' names anymore. Is it? I think it might be. I remember Stance with a Fist, and I don't think it was Hunting Bull, but something like that. Anyway, they're in the tent of like Stands with a Fist, and the man that basically raised her, although in real life Graham Greene and the actress that played her were like 6 months apart in age, but they, you know, Kevin Costner wakes up in the middle of the night and he hears like Laughing Bull, that was his name, like kind of doing it with his wife, and then they look over and like they're in different like sleeping bags, and then Kevin Costner looks embarrassed that he saw them in the act, so he turns around real quick, and then Stands with a Fist is like all like, she's like all hot and bothered, and she's facing the other side of the teepee. And later when, you know, Sergeant Dunbar and Stands with a Fist get together, basically how it happens is she goes into the teepee he's staying and takes off her dress. I'm just like, this thing is so campy, and it's like, I'm like, okay, I know it's just alluding, but when you think about it, it's without the graphic part. It's like, is this? I don't know. It's just kind of funny, like thinking back on that movie. I'm just like, when I was a kid, I thought it was a really good book, and then, I mean, now I've seen the movie so many times when I was a kid. I don't think I'd ever watch it again. But I used to love watching it when I was a kid. I thought it was such a good movie. It was like one of my favorite movies for a while. We watched it all the time. We just loved it so much. And it's a long movie. It's just kind of a campy, in a way it's kind of silly too, looking back, because I think, I mean, I like Kevin Costner as an actor, but sometimes he just, like, these roles, like, he's an interesting one, I'll say that. But, you know, if you've never seen Dances with Wolves before, it's a good movie. It's a long movie, and you could read the book. It's fiction. It's not actual historical facts. I mean, it documents what happened to the Native American people, but I would say it's very Hollywood-esque, you know, in a way. But that used to be one of my favorite movies, and I liked the book. I remember when I was 12, 13, I was really into it. You know, another thing about it is there's the one Native American actor that has the amazing long hair, and he doesn't wear a shirt, and he's so hot. I don't remember the names of anybody that was in this movie. I haven't seen it in years, but I do remember him. I think he almost wasn't able to finish the movie because he was having a hard time learning the Lakota language. And even though, like, my gosh, like, he's so good looking, and he's one of the most attractive actors in that entire movie. It didn't matter how good looking he was. If you couldn't speak the language, you wouldn't, and he was struggling to learn the language, and they almost didn't keep him. So, yeah, I guess if you're playing a character role where you have to speak the language, you kind of have to learn the language. Although we heard something later, I read something later that the way they spoke Lakota in the movie wasn't even accurate because they spoke it in the way that women, like there's like a feminine version of speaking Lakota and a masculine. And I don't know if this is true, but I remember reading that on a blog a few years back. And that is kind of, if you're into linguistics, like anybody who's into linguistics, you could look that up. But I was just thinking about that scene from Dances with Wolves. And I haven't watched any movies lately. I don't know, I'm not in the mood to watch movies, I guess. I'm just not. If I do something, I'll read a book. That's what I'll do. I feel like maybe a spoon would help stir this up better. No way. I hope it doesn't fall through. This is my fear. It's gonna fall through. To test it out. I'm not gonna make big ones this time. I'm just gonna kind of scoop them on. Keep them slightly separated. The best of my ability. I'm just gonna put them in. It's a little too wet, but it is what it is, what it is.com. It is what it is, what it is.com. It is what it is, what it is.com. It is. Oh no, not fall. Well, you know what? Might use a couple packets of ketchup. Some of the squeezable tahini. And a little bit of water. Actually, this is not bad. You do get 10 fluid ounces, maybe. Okay. That's not bad. We'll add some of this. A tiny bit of water. I'm not going to add this. I think that might be not a great idea, but I have an idea. I think I might add and I'll add in more tahini if I must. It's not. So I see enough kitchen sauce packets. I'm gonna get something and wipe down the bottom of the fridge before I stir it up. Feels too soft in the middle. They've got to keep going. Everything needs to just slowly be emulsified. That's just how you have to go on it. Always a big bite of it though. Well, I didn't mind for that. This batch might be better because I'm adding a little more flour. Smell cilantro and onions. Oh, this definitely. Yeah, I think it needed a lot of flour considering just how many things hold it together. Let's see how that's looking. I think keep going. About tahini is you really do need to water it down so it starts to get that beautiful color to it. Water and oil may not mix, but tahini, water and oil do emulsify, okay? It just takes a bit of time, but you will get there. So I definitely recommend taking the time. Stirring. I don't want to add too much water. sometimes you have to keep stirring to get the texture that you want. That's beautiful. This is a beautiful mixture. So you definitely need to add water. I think I used to be so like, oh, tahini needs to be thick. But I used to make frosting out of tahini actually, and I think I did used to water it down. It's beautiful. This stuff is better than ranch. It's better than mayonnaise. Like, look how beautiful that is. How can you not love tahini? If you don't, I don't know. I don't love you then. I'm gonna be right back. Because you better love tahini if you love me. You don't love me if you don't love tahini. thinking we might be good at this point. Space to get them out of the oven. Like this is going to be a little bit of fun time. It's like they kind of stuck themselves to the bottom. This should be interesting. They're just going to have to go back in on another tray. I'm going to scoop these off. So raw. We'll just have to clean. And we'll just have to get a different tray and finish cooking them. Since they were a little too wet, that's what we needed to do. And I just have to, I don't want it on that side, we want it on this side, okay. The slightly raw side be on the top. So don't fall, you stay right there. Just a little too much moisture on this side. I feel like this one, the mixture's a little too doughy. I just have to clean off one of those little, I don't have to wash that one. bottom one is gonna be a little bit thinner though. Have some little pieces of it. Not like the other one. It's gonna be better. Take a peek. No, it needs more time. A little bit more time than that. Give it a couple more minutes of cook time. This is really good. No. I don't like bugs. I killed the bug. Those ones are probably pretty good to go. I'm gonna get a bowl, a plate. And then we're gonna get our falafel friends. Whee! Nice one. Like that. And then we'll make a new batch. Well, we have a new batch that's about ready to go, right? Off they go. They're hot still. They're too hot, are they? Yeah, they're too hot. Let them, they need to cool a bit. My little falafel friends, they're so green. Mm-hmm. I love falafel. So good. I love falafel. It's so yummy. It's so good. smells so lovely in here. It's garlicky, it's oniony, very delicious smelling. Garlic, onion, I smell it all. It smells so good. Garlic, onions, and all. It smells good. I think I'm going to put some components of everything I made back in the fridge. Like, for instance, I'm going to stick the broccoli back in the fridge. Just add a fill of that. And then I'm wondering how these guys are doing. I want to take a peeky peek. Looks like they're doing pretty good this time around. Let them cook a little bit more. Should I get fully cooked? This is good. It's really good. This batch, so it was a little hotter in the air fryer. Well, I'm not sure. Let's see. And I feel like they're sticking a little still. This might be funny, but maybe I'll cook them upside down. Get them. It'll be fun. I didn't like the soda stream, but I do like this flavor that I have to go with it. Kind of like a gives things kind of an orangey flavor. actually. And this particular recipe is a little, in my opinion, a little too, because that didn't fix the problem. If I want to fix it completely, it's just too wet. So it's gonna have to go back in the air fryer with another batch. Anyway, I had fun having some falafel. It was yummy, 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 and I'm just gonna finish cooking that last batch of it. I'm gonna put my tahini sauce back in the fridge. But it was very tasty. Thanks for watching. Bye.